Hello dear viewers, time again for the news here on Rwanda Television. This time you'll be with me, Serge Nhore. Let us begin with the headlines. Prime Minister Dr. Justin Nsengiyumva has participated in a presidential dialogue at the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States Summit in Malabo. Rwanda has topped the 2026 Global Investment Index as the most profitable destination for investor returns. Now, straight to the details. I'm glad you're able to join us. The Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Justin Nsengiyumva, stated that there are still challenges hindering trade among African, Caribbean and Pacific countries, and that these should not continue to be blamed on former colonial powers. In this regard, he pointed out that obstacles still remain in easing the movement of people and investment, which Rwanda has taken the lead in addressing by removing visa requirements for all Africans visiting the country. The Prime Minister was in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, where he represented His Excellency President Paul Kagame at the 11th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States. On Sunday, together with the President of Gabon, His Excellency Brice Guema, he took part in a high-level discussion among heads of state focused on making better use of economic opportunities to advance sustainable development.
Remove the trade, the barriers to trade that we have kind of established. We cannot, at this point in time, we cannot blame the colonizers, we cannot blame the slave traders for these barriers. We have to blame ourselves. So this needs political commitment, it needs leadership for us to know that we have to let our people travel in our countries freely, to let the capitals travel freely in our countries, and let our people establish where they feel they can really be more productive in their endeavors.
Now, as we noted earlier, in this regard, the Prime Minister gave Rwanda as an example, which removed visa requirements for Africans visiting the country, showing that the policy could also be implemented by other countries if they choose to do so.
In Rwanda, under the leadership of President Kagame, we have acted on that. The President has said in the call of action. President Kagame is also a man of action. And the first thing that we have done to facilitate the movement of people is that for any African who comes to Kigali, who comes to Rwanda, is free to enter. You don't need a visa as an African to come to Rwanda.
Now, the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States was established in 1975 and is made up of mainly of African countries, which number more than 40, while the Caribbean has 16 member states and the Pacific has 15. Now, again, as we noted in the headlines, a report conducted on 100 countries around the world has shown that Rwanda is the only country where a person can make a visible, profitable investment. This Global Investment Index 2026 report found that when one invests in Rwanda, each dollar invested yields 2.27 US dollars over 5 years. Some of the factors that placed Rwanda at the top include the ease with which countries facilitate those who want to invest, the fight against corruption, the stability of the financial sector, the fact that Rwanda makes it easy for investors to repatriate the profits they earn to their homes and, to their home countries and more. These are some of the Rwandan and foreign investors who chose Rwanda as the country in which to invest their capital.
Business climate in Rwanda is also a very, very important aspect. For example, I'll give you one example. In Rwanda, you are allowed to plow back your profit into the business and to take it out when you want. You understand? You are not obliged to put the money, keep the money in Rwanda if you don't want to keep it. You know, once you made money, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do with the money because it's your money. So they respect your decision on what to do with the money. So that's also a very important thing.
Under the leadership of His Excellency President Paul Kagame, the stability and certainty that has been brought to Rwanda. And the first thing that money follows is stability and certainty. In the world of investment, you always think about what are your risks, and you need to quantify those risks. So with more stability and certainty, you're able to predict what you will make, whether your investment will make money, whether you'll be able to exit in a fruitful manner. So that's the first sort of, if I can say, tenet of what supports our investment. With that comes a lot of support. The government support, the idea of investment in Rwanda is very much on the national agenda. And with that, it allows investors, not just us as Rwandans, but even international investors to see this as a viable place.
Now, as we just told you, after analyzing the global investment landscape, financial experts who prepared the report show that Rwanda ranks first because every dollar invested there yields an additional 2.27 within 5 years. Rwanda replaced India on the top position, with India coming in second, followed by Malaysia, then Botswana and Qatar. These are investors from Eritrea and from other Arab countries who have made major investments here in Rwanda.
Rwanda is a fantastic place. I think as investing here, it's been more about the country's governance, the corporations, the support that we keep receiving from all stakeholders, and working with the people around here. As you know, we operate the Kigali Logistics platform and Rubavu Logistics platform. It's been an incredible journey for last 5-6 years. We've been working here. We employ more than 700 people plus minus direct indirect work, and 98% being the Rwandese people.
We are very much impressed with the investment we have done here in Rwanda. Rwanda was a very small company, and today is, as you can see, as one of the biggest importers and distributors here in Rwanda. So. We've come to this level it's because of the conducive investment opportunities which is being created in Rwanda. Here in Rwanda, you know, the systems are clear. The government is very stable and efficient and ever improving services.
In discussions with 200 investors from 8 countries of Northern Europe who came to explore the investment opportunities available here in Rwanda, the Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Development Board, Jean-Guy Africa, said that over the past 20 years, investors from the countries in that northern region of Europe had invested more than $200 million in the country.
It's also the reason why we've brought together under one roof within the Rwanda Development Board in the One Stop Center 24 agencies. We've mapped the galaxy and the universe of services provided to investors, their journey. We noticed that in multiple instances, investors have to go to multiple places. So we've grouped those services within the One Stop Center, and today within that center we provide in excess of 400 services. We brought those services together, and the next challenge in our evolution is to digitize them fully, to remove any existing fragmentation that might exist when you go through a process of bringing together so many different functions, to basically create an environment where an investor steps in the One-Stop Center and never has to go anywhere else. It's still a journey we're on, but the vision is very clear.
In 2024, the value of foreign investment reached $3.2 billion, while the country's target is $4.6 billion by 2029. The economist Strato Habyarimana notes that Rwanda has done a great deal to attract investors to the country.
Another issue that has been reported is the requirement to have a resident or a citizen to co-invest with you. So there is some portion of the investment you have to hand over to local residents or local citizens, so for you to be able to be eligible to invest money in a foreign country. So that requirement also sometimes is deemed by foreign investors like a hindrance for them to invest. And one of the hindrances as well is repatriating money after investment. Sometimes it's difficult. There are some countries which say no, money has to stay in a country, and if you export, you repatriate your money, you have to pay a specific tax, etc. So in Rwanda, I don't think it's a big challenge. And I think those are the main ones.
Under Rwanda's Vision 2050, the country has set itself the goal of becoming a hub for various services in the region where it is located. These include technology, finance, tourism, healthcare, education, and others. Now to the agricultural sector, and stakeholders in the horticulture export sector say that they have set a target of reducing by 80% the volume of produce rejected after reaching the market by 2028. They base this on the capacity and expertise the country is steadily building in the proper use of crop protection chemicals and in testing residue levels before produce is sent to markets around the world. Through the 5-year VIVE program running until 2028, the government of Rwanda is helping more than 200 companies in this sector comply with the quality standards required on the international market. More than 80 young people have already been trained to support those companies. This careful attention to chemicals is reinforced by testing the level of their residues before produce is exported, as we just noted. The internationally advanced chromatography technology is what is used in the laboratory of the Rwanda Standards Board, where those chemical residues are tested in agricultural and livestock products. Of the more than 6,000 samples tested by RSB in the 2024-2025 fiscal year, 70% were from agricultural and livestock products. Exporters of fruits and vegetables say this has protected them from losses. The director of the Standards Testing Division at RSB has stated that the capacity of the laboratory that helps test chemicals in produce destined for export has more than doubled over the past 2 years. Now, the latest figures from the National Agricultural Export Development Board, that's NAEB, show that in just 1 week from March 16th to the 20th this year, 656 tons of fruits and vegetables were exported. The produce was exported to the UK, the Netherlands, France, and countries on the African continent, earning Rwanda 1.7 billion Rwandan francs. Now, staying with agriculture, farmers say that soil erosion control and the cultivation of all arable land have increased crop yields per hectare, and that they are calling for these measures to continue to be supported. The National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda has also recently indicated that agriculture contributed as much as 20% to the country's gross domestic product last year as a result of these anti-erosion measures. Across the countries, farmers are finalizing preparations to begin the 2026 Season B planting period. They say that the measures the country has taken, including the use of improved seeds, soil erosion control, and increased farmer training, have led to higher production. The chairperson of the board of one of the non-governmental organizations focused on the development of rural residents has indicated that working hand in hand with the government contributes to increasing agricultural production. The head of the Rubirizi branch of the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board has assured farmers that the government will continue to help them increase production and find markets for their harvests. At a meeting of leaders from central government institutions and decentralized entities, His Excellency the President asked why production per hectare remains low and what measures are needed. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has indicated that there is a plan for agricultural production to increase by 6% each year. Over 5 years, it is expected to rise to more than 50%. The National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda has recently announced that agriculture accounted for 20% of the country's GDP. Last year, as we just noted, it added that erosion control, especially during the rainy seasons, is among the factors that have helped increase agricultural production. Now let's move on to political matters. And the Liberal Party is calling on its members to strive to build secure families, saying that they are the foundation of the country's sustainable development. This was discussed during a meeting of the party's National Council held in Kigali on Sunday. The meeting was attended by parent members representing others from across the country. The discussions focused on the role of a secure Rwandan family in the country's development, with some members of the party committing themselves to becoming stronger role models in this regard. The president of the Liberal Party, Donatille Mukabalisa, has stated that building a secure family is the responsibility of every person, because it is the family that prepares the future of the country and its people. The Minister of the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, Console Wimana, who had been invited to the meeting, delivered a presentation on the principle of gender equality and the complementarity exchange views on the problems affecting the family, and explained the role of a secure family in the country's development. She reminded participants that among the urgent priorities is resolving conflicts within families. A 2025 survey by the Rwanda Governance Board shows that Rwandans are satisfied with family development services at a rate of 74.7%. Among them are men with these services at a rate, that is, are men satisfied with these services at a rate of 76.3%, while women are satisfied at a rate of 73.3%. Those satisfied with the services stand at 74.7%, as we just noted, while those who criticize them account for 24.2%. Staying with political matters, the members of the RPF Inkotanyi in Nyarugenge district have committed to continuing to strengthen measures aimed at fighting stunting among children caused by malnutrition, which is still present in the district, although it ranks first nationwide in combating it. Nyarugenge district has reduced the rate from 29.9% in 2020 to just 8.7% last year. On Sunday, members of the RPF Inkotanyi in Nyarugenge district gathered in a General Assembly, bringing together representatives from the settlement level up to the district level. In the presentation delivered under the theme, the role of the RPF Inkotanyi member in building the Nyarugenge we want, emphasis was placed on continuing the fight against stunting among young children, and members committed themselves to play a role in sustaining that effort. The chairperson of the RPF Inkotanyi at the Nyarugenge district level urged party members in the district not to become complacent, because there is still work to be done, and a great deal of it. The commissioner in the RPF Inkotanyi, Charles Habonimana, for his part, called on the members in Nyarugenge district to work together. In addition to continuing to reduce stunting among children, members of the RPF Inkotanyi in Nyarugenge district also expressed satisfaction with the infrastructure that has been built, including roads, commercial buildings, cell offices, and others, all of which reflect the development of Nyarugenge, driven with the contribution of residents. And now, international news, and please note that all of our stories come to us courtesy of the Associated Press. A spokesperson of the Latin Patriarch according to the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, it was the first time in centuries that church leaders were prevented from celebrating Palm Sunday at the place where Christians. Staying in Israel, a missile fragment that fell on a factory outside the. Now to Iran, and Iranians. Samia Kulab of the Associated Press reporting there. Now, cross-border movement has declined significantly, though dozens of Iranians continue to enter Iraq seeking cheaper goods, internet access. Now, that has brought us to the end of this edition of the news. However, before we go, another quick look at the headlines. Prime Minister Dr. Justin Sengiyumva has participated in a presidential dialogue of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States Summit in Malabo. Rwanda has topped the 2026 Global Investment Index as the most profitable destination for investor returns. Thank you again for taking the time to join us for this edition. I look forward to seeing you again, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Goodbye.